with the men's sitting. 18 athletes taking part this morning. My name's Alan Martin. Delighted to be here with you to take you through the action on this glorious day, it has to be said, at the foot of the big ski jump slopes. We've been around since about 1930 here in the northwestern part of Slovenia. Spectacular alpine valley that we find ourselves in. It's soaked in sun on one side, not so much the other. In a few hours you'll see it beaming down right into the valley. But for these guys, they get to start in the shade. That's the way Michele Miglione from Italy. 28-year-old, pretty new to Para Nordic international scene. He was away the first about 18, tackling their 4 2.5-kilometre laps. Krzysztof Plewa from Poland. 25 years of age, another that's a fairly new name on the circuit. To see his development within the sport. Josip Zima from Croatia. 33, turns 34 next week, I think. Again, all those three that have gone so far, pretty new on the circuit. Indicative of how age doesn't really impact on new starters in para sports. So right across the International Paralympic Committee and also the para world of sports in general, you tend to find people taking up sports because of their impairment, not their age. This is for Grassi. He's 45. Two 45-year-olds, two 40-year-olds in this. We also have an 18-year-old, so you see the range of ages between the athletes. Josip Zimmer, who went a little bit earlier, has got a Paralympic Games under his belt already. Having only took up the sport in 2017, so impressive climb straight away. Bib 6, that belongs to Alexander Aleksik, who's actually the youngest in the field here at 16. Had some troubles in the biathlon yesterday. Pavlo Bal, another that competed in the biathlon. No such tricks with the gun here in the freestyle cross country. So 10 kilometres for the sitting athletes. 7.5 for the female sitting athletes. These guys having to do 4 laps of 2.5 from sunshine to snow. Entries from Argentina and Brazil in this one. This is Guilherme Rocha. Vasil Kravchuk, and we're up to halfway in terms of the athletes getting going. 24-year-old from Ukraine. Heavy hitters still to come in this discipline. We've got all of the medal winners from the last World Championships and the last Paralympic Games here, so it's a really stacked field when it comes to talent. And talking of the Paralympic Games, here's the man that owns that gold medal. He hasn't found anything like that sort of form since then, and the roar of the home crowd and the atmosphere around the home games often leads to athletes gaining an extra 4, 10, 15% on their performances, and Shin seems to be one of those that was able to push himself harder and further than ever before. Giuseppe Romelli, 29-year-old. Nicknamed Beppe. He's competed in para swimming and para athletics as well as Giuseppe Romelli, so another of those that's more than happy to take on the summer and winter challenges that sport can throw at us. Davidovich, bronze medal winner in Pyeongchang in 2018. Here comes the reigning world champion, second yesterday in the biathlon middle distance. Didn't have the speed through the snow yesterday to beat Ivan Golubkov. So today he needs to go at this differently, because his strength yesterday was certainly his accuracy with the rifle. Taras Rad, another that's used to picking up medals at the big events. Rad, the bronze medal winner from Prince George in the last World Championships to take place in this sport. Rad was the fifth and final Ukraine athlete to leave the start gate. This is Alexander Davidovich, Russian Federation. Just the two athletes for Russia in this one, and both of them will have major aspirations to be finishing inside the top three. We'll try and give you lap times as we go along, but we'll see all of the athletes out of the gate, including our second Brazilian athlete. This is Estamayer getting underway. Christian Estamayer Ribera. First to get himself a sixth place finish, Estamayer Ribera in Pyeongchang in the 15K. Got ninth in the 7.5, so this event. One of the first Brazilians to finish inside a top 10 in a Winter Games in any discipline, so a record breaker. Here is the man that they could not beat yesterday, Ivan Golubkov, looking for back-to-back victories over the middle distance. And I can tell you, this guy, the upper body part, the shoulders, the forearms, this guy is built. He is absolutely like a wall. And I suppose that's what helps him propel himself around 10 kilometres at speed. Training these athletes have to go through to push themselves. And you see, if you do enough research, you'll see pictures of some of these guys using the summer conditions to help themselves as well. A lot of road training. Certainly for Brazilian and the Argentinian contingent that we have here, you do enough research online, you'll find pictures of them using the wheeled versions of their sit skis and pushing themselves along on the roads to give themselves as much exposure to the upper body workout as they can get. The purpose of the actual event, we're some 9 minutes in already. Again, 2.5 kilometre laps is what they're looking for. Sun yesterday seemed to make the conditions fairly slippy, and I'm just watching those kids climbing that mound of snow there. It does appear to be quite hard and crisp, so it'll be interesting. Out on the course, we had a couple of people fall in the standing and VI events, so plenty of slipping and sliding was visible. Now, Christoph Plever, to give you an example of the lap times here, then has gone round in 8:53. Biglione went round in 10:01. So, as I say, some of the newer names to the circuit. It's not about finishing in the 1, 2, 3 positions for them. It's about gaining the exposure and experience that, of course, has been hampered over the last 12 months as well. Shot of the foot of the drop, using almost the landing area for the ski jumpers as part of the course. Here is Westermeyer, as I mentioned, a record breaker for Brazil. Those 2 top 10 finishes, something the country had never seen before at the Winter Games. And you know enough about this guy to know that he wants to go higher than that. That's not just the aspiration to be the record breaker. He wants to get towards those podium places and be a part of the names that are read out in those victory ceremonies. So keep your eye on this young 18-year-old from Brazil. Let's catch up on more of those times that have come through. So Shin, the reigning Paralympic champion, has gone through. He's currently in first on 7 minutes 40. Still some 10 athletes or so to get their times through the first lap. Daniel Knossen, we saw leaving the second to last entry into this. He's one of our 40-year-olds is Knossen. He's also the silver medalist for both events. So not only did he pick up silver in Pyeongchang, Shin didn't beat him in Prince George, but Daniel Flag certainly did. Sorry, Maarten Flag certainly did. So Daniel Knossen, a point to prove when it comes to the next Worlds and Paralympic Games. Less than a year away, of course, from Beijing, the home of the next Winter Games. Again, with travel as it is at the moment, noticeable absentees from many countries, so this World Cup only gives us a sprinkling of the truth in the sense of who's where in their journey at the moment. And I always love the fact that within the year of the Games, somebody new always seems to rise up in one of the categories. sections on a Nordic course, the most grueling for any Nordic athlete, not just in para sports, but those climbs, they're the gruelers. You take the breather but still push on in the downhills. Let's compare Shin's time with some more that have gone through, and in fact Shin has already been pushed down 4 places here. Romelli has gone through in 7:21, just behind Davidovich at present. He's still got 4 to come through in terms of times. Martin Fleig is down in 6th position after the first lap. I said yesterday that his best part was the range. Really seemed to struggle to maintain the speed of Golubkov, and I wonder how much that's taken out of him as well. Westermeyer pushing on. Ribera, one of those last few names that I get an official first lap time for. Let's take a look at some of those come through. Davidovich, Romelli, Westermeyer, Rad, Kravchuk, Fleig dropping down into 7th here. We've still got Knossen and Golubkov's times still to come through, so the Brazilian is there or thereabout, but so too is the Italian Romelli. Knossen down in 7th. Paralympic champion Shin down in 8th. Golubkov 7:11.1 for his first 2.5 kilometers. Here he is, the 25-year-old. Absolutely smashed it yesterday. Really entertaining to watch. And Ivan Golubkov do the double here, the man from Moscow. It's Alexic, the 16-year-old. Massive part of the learning curve is getting out there on the course with some absolute world stars of this sport. Not only competing with them, but trying to learn from them as well is really important. The great thing about this course is that it intertwines with itself, so you can actually see and measure yourself while you're out there, because you often catch the other athletes either coming the other way or 2 tracks over there going the same direction as you but in another part of the course, and you can measure that in the opening laps to see your distance. But equally, people like Golubkov, what his aim is to try and just chase down those that have started in front of him. All of the times are different. Each of these athletes across all 3 of the disciplines, the VI and the standing as well, they're all classified for their own impairments, which means that the running clock is manipulated in the calculation that fits that classification. Some people's minutes aren't a minute, they take longer. 100% for Talastrad means that his minute is exactly a minute that you and I would know. Factored times. Big push from Romelli here, who's had a great start. Can he maintain that, is the question. Golubkov led after the first lap, 4 times around. That's all they get. 2.5 kilometers each time. Mr. Clever has gone through the second lap, 5 kilometre mark at 17:53. He was down in 15th place after the athletes had all gone through their first 2.5 kilometres. So you compare his first lap of 8:53 with the 7:11 that Golubkov got. He was some 1.42 down. Clever slower in his second lap round as well. This is Davidovich. Davidovich was in second position behind Golubkov. I said at the beginning, both these Russian athletes will have their eyes set on being in those podium places. Romelli, great start from him. Can he maintain that? 16-year-old Ukraine Aleksik has gone through in 16:54, so he's put almost a minute between himself and Clever. Aleksik was 13th after the first 2.5 kilometres. It is Golubkov. Alexander Davidovich, gold medal winner in this event back in 2015 at the World Championships. Like many Russian athletes, not part of major events over a period of time. Returning, and many looking to return to the top of their sport. Romelli pushing on and flying. He just seen him go past the other competitors, and Romelli is on the charge. Golubkov also going past one of those in front of him. I think that's Taras Rad just in the background. Romelli has gone through here 14:54. It's only a fraction slower than his first 2.5 kilometres. Kravchuk went through at 15:22, so Romelli is nearly 30 seconds ahead of Vasil Kravchuk. And here is Taras Rad, should I say. Alongside him is Davidovich. See the strength in the arms for both of them racing through that section of the course. This is the Argentine Nicolas Lima. A cracking youth swimmer back in his teens. Now concentrating on this Nordic event. He sees this as an opportunity to get to the Paralympic Games. I read a wonderful article on him over the last week or so. His local community really coming together to fund and assist with the costs of what is pretty much a one-man team. He is certainly a driven young man. He was explaining that obviously in Argentina, when you say, "Oh, you know, I'm into Nordic sport," he said that people don't really understand what I mean. So he said, "I want to show them. I want to show them on the biggest stage of all." Romelli from Davidovich is the time to beat at the moment. Taras Rad down in 4th position. He went through at 15:25, just behind Kravchuk, just ahead. Daniel Knossen, Shin and Fleig behind those. So some of our medalists from the last 2 major events have got some work to do here if they're to come anywhere near podium places in this event here in the World Cup. Davidovich and Rad Still racing against each other almost. Interesting if that affects either's tactics. They're being pushed on. You see Radigan just closing the gap a little bit as they get into the tracks. He'll be right on top of Davidovich if he carries on like that. Taras Rad, just 21. Bronze medal winner from the last World Championships. Both of these two have got a track each. That's Shin and Pavlo Bal. Hyun Hyun. Again, those athletes from China, when it comes to being a Games in Beijing, will feel, of course, the same pride and drive and determination that Shin did in front of his home crowd. Golubkov just losing a little balance through that section. But it is Golubkov that leads at halfway then. 14:41 was his time after 5 kilometers. Romelli is in second, ahead of Davidovich and Kravchuk. So the battle is on here. Giuseppe Romelli. His idol is Italian motorcycle legend Valentino Rossi. If you're going to pick somebody that likes speed, then Valentino Rossi is pretty much your man. So good choice. Good choice indeed. Can Romelli race his way to the finish line? Or does Golubkov have the bigger engine? We'll find out in the next 5 kilometers. Well, less than 5 now. They're already well into their third lap. Pleva, one of our early starters, 45-year-old, fighting his way around the track. It's still Rad and Davidovich, not separated out there on the snow at least. Golubkov chasing down on Daniel Knosson. Knosson not part of the bigger picture in the early stages, it has to be said here. Down in 6th and 7th over the first couple of laps. Estemayer not as high up the list as he would have wanted either. He's was in 6th position. Pleva and Alexic have gone through again for their third lap times. The next time they'll come through will be the final time for them. It is Romelli. The gap between the Italian and the Russian was just 14 seconds at halfway. Yesterday, we saw Ivan Golubkov absolutely motor through his final laps. Can Romelli come up with the goods? Good battle. The 29-year-old Italian and the 25-year-old world leader, Golubkov, at the moment. Here's Alexander Alexic, youngest man in the field. Other Italian in this, Michele Biglioni, was currently down in 17th position. 21:01 was his time at halfway. Here's the leader, or will he be, when it comes to the third lap, the penultimate lap. 7.5 kilometers will have gone next time we see his times come up. Romelli has gone through at 22:29. He's still ahead of Davidovich by just 8 seconds. Davidovich has closed that gap. He was 16.5 seconds back after 5 kilometers. He's just 8 seconds back now. But does that mean that Romelli has lost time on Golubkov, or have they both managed to close down on him? Taras Rad, third position. Kravchuk in fourth at the moment. Shin has got himself up into fifth. Martin Fleig just behind. Wilson just having a look behind him, and what he'll see is Golubkov coming through. Now, will Golubkov choose the other track? He will, and he's got on the inside as well. And this short right-hander, but can Golubkov use this track now to overhaul Knosson? Or will he remain behind the American for the time being? He's certainly ahead on time. So Golubkov goes through at 22:12. The gap is now 18 seconds. So he has pulled away slightly, but only by about 3.5 seconds on the previous 2.5 kilometers. The athletes coming into what is the firing range area and penalty lap area ordinarily. The athletes there getting the warm-up for the women's event. It's Martin Fleig, world champion. 7.5 kilometers is well down. He was 9th at the halfway stage. Unbelievably accurate yesterday. Don't think he missed the target throughout that race. And that is what you need to be a champion in the biathlon. But certainly this course hasn't been his friend in terms of trying to gain speed to get around it. So we'll start to see athletes coming into the finish pretty soon. Golubkov from Romelli, from Davidovich, from Rad. That is why Taras Rad and Davidovich are racing so hard against each other. But essentially, there's actually 30 seconds between Rad and Davidovich. It is Alexei Davidovich. And there's Rad at the bottom of your shot as well. So those two in third and fourth, and realistically Taras Rad would have to overtake Davidovich and get away from him. stand a chance of nicking that position. But Davidovich, his intention here is to close down on Romelli and regain the second place that he had after the first lap round. It's Mr. Maya Ribera. Romelli, still those arms just pumping away. Maximum effort. Currently closing down on Vasil Kravchuk, number 9 bib there. Kravchuk found himself down in 5th position. He's the race leader. Can he maintain the speed as we start to get athletes coming in across the line? That's Christoph Plever, 45-year-old, finishes his morning's work. Plever getting across the line in a time of 35:25. We'll burst for home here.
We'd also like to ask you today not to forget for the starting list.
Alexic on the right-hand side. And Shin there in your shot coming through. He will know that's not going to be good enough for a top 3 spot. Davidovich pushing on, coming up to and go past Knosson, I think that is. Well, it's Romelli himself. And that could be a big impact here on the results if you start to come through then. At the moment, Shin's time leads the way on 32 minutes, 0.8, and through comes Kravchuk, Davidovich and Romelli. What a big finish from Davidovich, that is. We'll check on those times. Romelli is in front, 30.05. Davidovich in third, 30.22. Kravchuk in third at the moment. Romelli, Davidovich, Kravchuk. Golubkov's time is the big one now. There's Davidovich. What a great effort he put in. Lima and Fogarassi. Don't see much of Patrick Fogarassi out there, but they'll see them both of them come in towards the finish fairly soon. They've still got laps to go. That is a slippy right-hander. It really is. And you saw Fogarassi losing balance and losing time because Lima went straight past him again. All that hard work, you've got to do it again. Still laps to go for those. Romelli, Davidovich still flat out at the finish line. He has grafted around that 10-kilometre course. He really has. Martin Fleig just going out of shot. Here comes another finisher then. I think it is Fleig coming in. Yep, it is. Bib number 13, Martin Fleig coming in. He's well off the pace here, 1 minute 46 or so. And, Get the official time in a second. Martin Feig to 1:54, it would seem then, behind the leaders. 17 seconds was the gap for Davidovich, and here comes Golubkov, who must know that he's taken it, and he has by 18 seconds in the end. Golubkov, another strong performance. Double middle distance victories for Ivan Golubkov. And your Knosson coming across. There isn't a sense of a smile there from Knosson, so with him perhaps the struggle was very real. Lima pushing hard, some real screams coming from the side of the course. Golubkov, Romelli and Davidovich is the 1-2-3. Knosson currently in 6th position, which would be one position up from where he's been for most of the race. So we'll just wait for a few more to come across the line now, because Westermeier Ribera was in 6th. He's coming in on the right-hand side of your shot. Lima on the left. Westermeier Ribera comes through the line then. Finishing as well is Fogarassi. He didn't get ahead of Lima in the end. The women's race about to get underway as well. So it's all action here. That's Marie Meunier. My estimation is that's the 3rd starter according to the start list. We should already have out on the course leader Doederlein and Monika Kukla of Poland as well. More Brazilian athletes taking part in the sitting events in the snow here. Eileen dos Santos Roja. Bring you those official results for the men's event as soon as we can. Still 3 athletes to come across the line. Jerovi, Biglione and Zima still to put in their final times. The concentration on Marta Zainolina is evident for all to see. 2nd place finish yesterday in the biathlon, a bronze medalist from Pyeongchang, Marta Zainolina. 28-year-old American Kendall Gretsch. And away she goes. And that only leaves the current World Cup leader and reigning champion of pretty much everything. Lady who's taking it to the rest of the world, really is giving it everything, and is certainly in the form of her life over these last few years, just maintaining excellence. Oksana Masters of the USA, world and Paralympic champion, already middle distance biathlon winner here in Planica, and now setting off for the cross-country title as well. Just how successful will her journey to Slovenia be? So Golubkov, the official times for him, he takes it from Romelli, Davidovich in 3rd, just 35 seconds separating those top 3. Biglione just behind Lima, Fogarassi, Roja, and the rest at the bottom end of the field. The hard-fought contest, but again, Ivan Golubkov just too quick through the course for everyone else. Eileen Dos Santos Roja, we mentioned earlier on, bib number 24 when you see her, 30 years of age from Brazil. Some Sao Caetano. Her coach is her husband, Fernando Urso. She says he's the most influential person on her career, so we'll keep an eye out for her as she heads round. Another that's competed at summer and winter games. There's a lot of that going on. The American team knows all about the difficulties of training for both. Kendall Gretsch, Oksana Masters at the top end when it comes to Para Nordic skiers. When you mention the sitting events, those two names spring to mind. There's plenty of others, but these two at the moment really are one heck of a double act. Here's Kukla from Poland. 24 years of age, third youngest out there in the tracks at the moment, and bursting past is Lera Duedeline. 17 years of age. We saw her yesterday in the biathlon event, had some troubles with the rifle, but all in all, a pretty decent day. She's starting to get away from Kukla as well, so yeah, that affects the timings. Just a matter of moments when we get the first laps up. Kukla, Duedeline, Menje, Dos Santos Roja, Zainolina, Gretsch and Masters. That's the 7 ladies taking part in this sitting event. Just the 3 laps for the ladies this morning, 7.5 kilometers as opposed to the men's 10. And just behind the mound comes Zainolina. Menje has been overtaken by Zainolina. It just starts to put the slide on for this right-hander. It was tricky yesterday. The sun is starting to come through again. The athletes coming out a little bit later on will start to feel the effects once more. A little bit more so. Duedeline coming through. Gretsch and Masters, 27 and 26 respectively. Leaning into that right hand. You see the differences between those, the elite end of this sport versus those that are perhaps learning. Oksana Masters and Gretsch, when they come into that right hand, and Zainolina was pretty much the same. No fear, just leaned into it, tried to get their sit ski around as quickly as possible. See some of the younger athletes, certainly we saw it in the men's event a few moments ago. Some of them just putting the brakes on a little bit, trying to edge themselves around it, losing the back end a little bit more. A real mixture of skill, bravery, and experience. Santos Roja being gained on and passed in pretty much the same bend by Oksana Masters, who just breezes by, and just see the difference in the arm rate the arm rate there from Masters, just flying. And again, not afraid to take that extra push into a drop down, you know, not afraid to go that extra bit of speed. Masters starting to pull away. Kukla just about coming through the first lap mark, I think. Timing-wise, it should be. Hoping to give you a sense of where they all are in just a matter of moments. The time's not coming up just at present. So Masters has a really interesting backstory and doesn't mind talking about it at all, and you get a chance to take a look into her life. It's a great story of achieving something she's been doing on and off the snow. Double sculls in London in 2012. Time trial cyclist in the Rio Games as well. You mix that in with all of the golds that she's taken in winter sports. Demonstrates a lady that knows how to win, is driven. Flying past Kukla. Almost as if she wasn't there. Masters has gone through 7:58. She leads, already a 30-second gap from Gret. Zainolina in third position. She's 48 seconds back. The Weatherline in fourth. Waiting for Menye and Dos Santos Rocha to come and get their times after the first lap. But at the moment, Masters is flying. The standard masterclass. Oksana Masters. That was Menye, just in shot a moment ago. Zainolina then just gliding into the right-hander, and now she's being closed down by Masters as well. See Gretsch. These three good examples of the sort of no-fear approach to some of these turns. And in fact, in the background there, you've just seen one of the skiers go down. It's potentially as Kukla. In fact, it was. So a great demonstration there. Maybe we'll see that a little bit later on as a replay, but a great demonstration of how Gretsch and Oksana Masters and Zainolina all just sort of no fear into the turn, knew exactly what they were doing. Kukla, new to the sport, it's all about gaining experience, has come into that right-hander. It's a sharp one, it's a quick one, and maybe the conditions with the sunshine being out as well and just warming it up a little bit just went down as she tried to take that right-hand bend. So a great example right there of learning from the greats, and no greater at the moment than Oksana Masters. She's now pulling away from Zainolina as well. The phrase is smashing it, I believe. Big welcome to anybody watching wherever you are in the world, as I know there's people watching on for supporting their Brazilian athletes. We've had Argentina represented this morning as well, but I'm certain there are people watching here from the United States of America, not just for Masters and Gretsch. You've got this youngster here, Lina Duetterlein, as well. Kukla once more, look, just edging her way into that corner, and that's the part that the coaching staff and the teams got to get them exposure to it. Every course is different, of course. Every course has its challenges. This is a rather sharp right-hander coming up. There's a bit of a sweep into it. Dos Santos Roja dealing with it fairly well. Just going to take a look at the times again. Start to think about the 5 kilometre mark. Masters marauding. Dos Santos Roja in third position here. Her lap time coming up at 8:45.3. She's inside a minute from Oksana Masters. And Zainolina dropping down into fourth. Menye, Duedeline and Kukla in those final 3 positions as well. Gretz tucking in. When they can, they take a breather. In the downhill sections, they'll push themselves into it, try and get a breath, just give their arms a brief respite. And that's what it is, it's brief. Zenolina, second place finish yesterday in the biathlon. What more has she got to give? Again, you can get a gauge of those temperatures out there from Duedeline's choice of headgear. None. No hat, no snood, no nothing. Big shout from the side there, you've got it. Kendall Gretsch has got medals to her name. Gold medal winner in Prince George of the long distance sitting. And a double gold medal winner in Pyeongchang as well. So still in the early parts of her career. A 3-time world para triathlon champion as well. So again, some of these athletes really able to mix it up away from the snowy conditions of the Nordic course as well. Gretsch into this right-hander. You can sense how much the shoulders are burning here. You can almost feel it for Lina Duedeline. This uphill section. Really testing out the triceps and the biceps. Pretty much every muscle, to be fair. There's Masters again, just tucking into certain sections. Give yourselves a rest for a moment. This is coming up to the second timing section by my estimations then. So first lap round of 2.5 kilometres took a 7:58. You always expect those second and third and fourth laps to obviously slow down as the body tires. Constant push. The hours that these athletes will spend in the gym on the upper body machines, the pull down weights. Give them everything they need in the shoulders, the chest. Of course, the core body strength required as well to assist you to maneuver the sit ski around. Very different to the mono skis you see in Alpine. The other line forging away. So the Masters has been through 5 kilometres, 16 minutes and 4. He's only a fraction slower. That is quite sensational. Little wobble there from Lera. Masters 7:58.2 first lap, 16:04.7 second lap. It's pretty good. That is pretty good. Something like 7 seconds slower than her first lap. That is phenomenal stuff. Now Gretsch goes through in second. Zainalina has gone through her second lap timings, 17:42.38. Gretsch 48 seconds back on Masters with a lap to go. You fancy that give or take a spill. This is Masters to lose at this point. Zainalina 1:38 back. Interesting now for Eileen dos Santos Rocha. Has she got the energy and strength to keep up the performance that had her in third after the first 2.5 kilometres? We'll give you her time in a matter of moments. There is Zainalina. Duetterline has gone through her second lap, then 5 kilometres down for the 17-year-old, 20.50. That was Rocha going through your screen. Just missed out on medals on the track in her home Paralympics in Rio. 5th place finish, getting her into the final of both the marathon T54 and also the 5,000 metres T54 event as well. Here's to Ederline then. Sled hockey, hand cycling, swimming. To Ederline, another of those that does it all. Plays a bit of sled hockey for the San Diego Ducks. There you go. In fact, not long back, she was awarded the 21st Duck which is a prestigious honour from the NHL Anaheim Ducks team. There you go. Masters in complete control, it would seem. I think Zainalina has got third. Yes, he has. 17:42 for Zainalina that time we read out earlier. Dos Santos Rocha has gone through 17:54. She's just fallen behind now. She was a fraction ahead of Zainalina after 2.5 kilometers, but the 30-year-old Brazilian now finds herself in fourth position. Zainalina has got herself back up to third. A second place finish yesterday. Has she got a little bit more to give to Kat's Kendall Gretsch? She's quite a way behind her as well. Almost a minute, in truth. The gap between Gretsch and Masters and Zainalina and Gretsch is pretty much the same. There's Masters, no mistakes. Look, just edging her ski or a sit ski onto just the singular ski onto the edge of the blade to assist getting round. And Gretsch and Masters having done well over 5 kilometers now. It's all about concentration and determination, pushing themselves still to complete that 7.5 as quick as possible, but with no mistakes, and that's the important part. And you saw it from both of them. Technique, flawless, absolutely flawless. Masters.
Come on, Kendall, let's go.
Just using those arms to balance herself out. You see the pole there just almost pulling at the snow to keep herself true in that turn. You are looking at the reigning world and Paralympic champion. You're looking at the winner from yesterday, and you're looking at the lady who is heading towards another victory on your screens, this time here in Planica, the World Para Nordic Skiing World Cup event. Well, it's phenomenal as always. It's masterful as always. It's Oksana Masters across the line. The briefest of thumbs up. She has pushed herself as she does every single time. One of those athletes that the world provides us with that doesn't take a moment off, doesn't go out and perform anything less than 100%. Oksana Masters has flown through the finish line in what I expect to be the winning time. 24:13 for Masters. Kendall Gretsch coming up into the finishing area in a matter of moments as well. It's going to be an American 1-2. Third and fourth, not so cut and dry. Zainalina in the background here has indeed closed the gap a bit. Interesting to see. Zainalina has 100% time. Kendall Gretsch's time is a 96% factor, so we'll see how that affects things in just a moment. Kendall Gretsch coming through the line first then. Marta Zainalina in the background also finishing her middle distance cross country. And it is Gretsch in second position. 25:03. Zainalina 26:43. Now the battle is on for Dos Santos Rocha to see if she can put a time in that will affect that top three. The coach shouting there, or maybe he didn't, but really good tempo. I like it. And exactly right. What you want here in this final lap is the athletes to demonstrate that they're still pushing ahead with their game plan. They're still putting in the energy levels you're expecting from them as a coach. Navigating those slidey turns fairly well as well. Here is the Brazilian. Being encouraged from the side. We've got Santos Roja, Duedeline, Menje and Kukla all out on the course still. We'll bring you coverage of the standing and vision impaired events a little bit later on today. Make sure you rejoin us for those. I'll give you the official results of the men's and the women's race before we end this first program as well. Good light. Sliding herself into that right-hand turn. Third of the Americans. Again, I said it yesterday, but what a fantastic group of athletes she's got as part of her team to be able to learn from and hopefully have as guidance. Masters and Gretsch. Also people like Knossen in the men's part as well. It's a real wealth of experience and medals for Lida Duedeline to be travelling around with. Hopefully she dives into that. And she comes towards the finish then. So final push for Lida Duedeline over our 2 days of coverage. The official time as she gets there. And that is the end of her 2 days of middle distance action. That time 31:25.5. She went from 6th to 5th in the first 2 laps. Let's see where she finishes here. This is Dos Santos Roja coming in to the finish. Now then, has she managed to close down on Zainolina? No, she'll finish in 4th here. So Dos Santos Roja finishing on 26:55, just behind Zainolina on 26:43. Just missing out on a podium place there for the Brazilian. Well, it's a fine effort, and that gap just over 10 seconds between Dos Santos Roja and Zainolina. That is a top effort from the 30-year-old Brazilian. Maria Menje still out on the course, so too Monika Kukla. That's the 5 that have come through so far. This is Menje. Kukla, I'm not sure, is actually still out on the course because she hasn't got a second lap time here. And she should have, is kind of what I'm saying. I've not been told that she's not out. We'll see if our camera guys and girls pick up Monika Kukla at some point, but I would start to think that she is withdrawn, perhaps. Maria Menje has not withdrawn. Here she is coming in this long left-hand bend. And in fact, confirmation just coming through now to me that Monica Kukla did indeed withdraw. I think she came through the 5 kilometre section and then decided that was enough for the day. Hope she's okay. Maria Mendier coming now towards the finish, not only for her, but of course this sitting event. She'll be hoping to try and chase down on Duedeline's time of 31:25 to avoid finishing in 6th position. And through the line she comes. Some 7:42 back on the leader, but that's not what this event was about for her. But she does indeed finish in 6th position. So it's America 1-2, Russia 3, Brazil 4, America 5, Germany 6. We'll bring you those official results in just a moment. But Oksana Masters 24-13 wins the women's event. Look back at what happened earlier. Ivan Golubkov was in great form. Romelli of Italy in 2nd. Davidovich finishing in 3rd in a field that had all 6 medal winners from the World and Paralympic Games of previous years. So all the medalists from the last 2 games were here. Lubkov was the quickest to get there. Oksana Masters, Kendall Gritz, Marta Zrenolina is the top 3 in the women's event. From myself, Alan March, the first section is done. The sitting event is over. We'll be back later with standing and vision impaired.